So Skywars: The Wrong Portal, which was our first film, was actually planned 2 years ago.
Do you actually like gummy worms in real life?
You know what? This is going to be in the pre-highlight clips. Trigger warning. There's going to be spoilers throughout this podcast. Lots of spoilers. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it before listening to this, essentially. There you go. The Rule and Joy is in the mud, I'm hearing.
Our next film is called Kingdoms. Aim for the sun because you might just hit the moon, which is a quote that's stuck with me ever since.
Yeah.
Alright lads, welcome back to Midweek MC, the part of the podcast where I sit down with the amazing co-host who can actually make it this week because we didn't have to postpone, AJX.
Yes, I'm back, everyone. Welcome.
How
Speed
are you?
Silver who?
Wow.
It's all about me.
Wow.
It's all
we're
about
even
me.
a minute into the podcast and you're already calling shots. AJX, sorry.
Well, the postponement meant I couldn't be on last week, but everyone wanted my return.
True.
So I'm back.
How are you today? Doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm tired. This is the fifth recording in 3 days, so I'm a little bit tired, but it's fine. We're cooking. All right, we're cooking. So
Oh yes.
technically, AJX, this podcast isn't actually all about you. You said it's all about you, but it's not really, because it's not just us two. We are joined with a guest yet again. Don't worry, for the viewers who want to tune into the Midweek MCs with just myself and AJX, in 2024, there's going to be a lot more just me and AJX podcasts. So don't worry, stay tuned for that. However, AJX, we are joined with someone who's pretty decent, I guess. Can you share who that is?
My favorite guest ever, Vera.
Hello. Hi.
How are you today, Vera?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty solid. I'm just vibing ahead college and that.
So why are you here? Why are you on the podcast?
Why am I on the podcast?
Yeah,
well,
what's your purpose here today?
I'm Vercon, and also known as Vera, and despite the voice, I go by she, her. I own a project named Gummy Studios, which is where I make Minecraft short films it's about like 16 voice actors now, and we made our first one last month, and we're currently working on our next one, which...
We'll get into talking about
Yeah,
sharing.
we'll get into talk about it, yeah.
Exactly. But with that then, Vera, do you have a fun fact? I'm curious. Do you have any fun facts about the short film or about yourself that you'd like to share before we get into talking about the podcast more? Not talking about the podcast, talking about the short film on the podcast. There we go.
So, Skywars: The Wrong Portal, which was our first film, was actually planned 2 years ago.
Oh damn!
But it was basically a failed film project because I just didn't have the resources at the time. But it eventually happened. This year, I just brought it back up, and it happened.
And now you're peaking.
I'm
Hang on,
peaking,
AJ,
yeah.
sorry.
I was going to say that's literally. I was going to ask that. I was going to ask how long has it been in like production for, or how long have you had the idea? So the fact it's been 2 years, bloody wow. Okay.
And I guess it works out, right? Because like now you're getting to sit down and talk to AJX for the next hour or so. Like, had you have done it 2 years ago, would you be on the podcast talking to AJX right now? We never know, right? Who knows? Maybe 2 years ago I was in the same community as you, so maybe I would have been in the movies, and instead of being a podcast host, I would have been a famous actor. You never know, right?
You never know.
But like I said, today we're peaking. We're getting to sit down with AJX, and I think honestly, this is what dreams are made of.
Yeah, I agree.
Not sure if this bit of me being an all-powerful being is, but I like it. So, tell us about the studio. Tell us about yourself. How did you when did this idea first come about? When did you start putting together everything?
So yeah, it started like late 2021 when I was just like, I write stories like as a hobby, and I thought, what if I just made one of them real? So I gathered some people who I thought would be interested, and eventually I realized they didn't really care that much, so I kind of shut down the project, and like I barely had anyone in the project in the first place. But then I guess while I was on holiday in the summer, I thought about it, and I was like, I have a lot more friends now, and I have a lot more connections. I could try doing it again, but this time instead of just focusing on one thing, we could do multiple films, and that's how Gummy Studios came about. It was originally called Vercon Productions, then we changed it to Vercon Studios, and finally Gummy Studios.
And transformation.
Yeah, eventually we just did it, and it worked. I'm pretty happy with it so far.
Where did the name? Why the name change? What was it do with that?
Well, Vercon Productions sounded a bit just long. I kind of like the catchy tune of Vercon Studios at first. I thought about it, and I didn't want to make it all about me, so because there's like voice actors and stuff involved. And so I was like, you know what, it's going to be Gummy Studios, which, by the way, for context, like my whole brand is gummy worms. Like on my Minecraft skin, my shirt has gummy worms on it. If you're watching the YouTube video, you can see it, but those are gummy worms. And so I was like, you know what, Gummy Studios, perfect.
And that you just chose to go with Gummy Studios just based on that branding.
Yeah, because it fit with my branding, and everyone liked it. Everyone in the Discord liked it. So
What's the deal?
I quite like the name.
Oh, yeah, Gummy Studios. I mean, yeah, it's a unique name. It's cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, it works as well. Like you said, I feel like it's a lot better than like having your name behind it based on the actors as well. Like,
yeah.
Also, I think the fact it's like Gummy is almost the exact opposite to like the blocks in Minecraft. The idea of gummies being like sort of the opposite to like all these rocks and so on that you use in Minecraft is quite good. So I like the fact that you got that mirror image, I would say.
Yeah, fair enough.
So what's, I guess, even more going back into depth with this one as well, then is like, why the whole gummy branding on your skin? Because I guess it links back to that essentially. You go from getting Gummy Studios from the idea of your skin having like gummies and stuff like that, but then where did that come from, if you remember?
So my original Minecraft skin from before I came out was it was from a Lucky Block like marketplace map, and I thought it was cool because of all the colors on it. And then when my new skin came about, there were a lot more colors on the stripes. It was just colored stripes at first. They never really were gummy worms. And one of my friends at the time was like, "Hey, those kind of look like gummy worms," and then it stuck with me.
Do you actually like gummy worms in real life?
Oh yeah, they're tasty.
Okay, I was going to say it'd be very, very funny if you just had if you did not like them or had just never eaten them before.
You're just a gummy worms enjoyer.
So you create the studio. You got a bunch of people to work on you. What were the next steps to sort of making your project and making this first film, which I've watched. Orbitz has watched as well. What were and the audience should watch, by the way. Anyone listening, you should go and check out their first film. What were the steps towards that? How much time was taken on the project? You already had a script in mind, but in terms of everything coming together, how long did that sort of take before even like filming it?
Okay, so before even filming it, so I invited all the actors I wanted in July.
Damn.
Late July, yeah. And in August, I started fully writing out the script and like the main story and stuff, so they could have a better understanding of it. And then like middle of August, that's when I started getting the actors, and I was like, right, who wants to play what character? And it was like I already had an idea for which actor would be better for a certain character. Like I already knew Irish Potato was going to be playing her character because it just kind of fit. Same with RC, the host in the film.
Yes, definitely.
I thought that was the perfect voice, so I was like, yeah, he's going to be the host.
RC's also
someone in the
which is quite funny.
He is on the podcast team, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we started filming in September when I got back from holiday, because I had a really long holiday. It was like July to September. It was crazy. But when I got back from holiday, September 5th was the official day that filming started. And we just went on, and what the process was that I gave them the script and they would record their lines. Each actor would record their lines in separate like MP3 files and put them in a Google Drive folder and then just send them to me. And then for the visuals, we just went on Skywars on the Hive, because Hive has like a replay system. And we just acted all the scenes out, and I put it all together in the editing. Well, I finished filming October 7th, I believe. Then I put it all together in editing. Editing took about a month or two, and finally released it on the 24th of November.
Damn, a long time overall. Like from the get-go, from all the way in July to then is a big distance between. There's pretty much 6 months you've been working on the project.
Almost, yeah.
And then obviously exciting new.
Yeah, it's also worth mentioning. Like I was starting college as well. Like I'm doing 4 A levels, no, 3 A levels and 1 AS, but basically 4 A levels. And so I was just like adjusting to college and like working on the film, trying to balance it out. So that's why it took as long as it did.
Yeah, definitely. But especially starting college is such a big thing. So the fact you were doing this whole project during that as well,
yeah,
that's kind of amazing.
Oh yeah, go on, AJX, please. Carry
on. You go ahead, King.
No, you're cooking. Carry on, please.
I was gonna say, how long was like the filming process overall?
Yeah, so it was about a month. There was a bit of a struggle with deadlines because I was very lenient on the deadline. Like for every script, I like to give the actors a month to send in their lines. But there were 2 or 3 who didn't, and I was like, I DM'd them like, hey, you still need to send me those, and they were like, oh yeah, I'll still send you those. And I swear every Tuesday I would remind them like, hey, you still need to send me those lines, man. I'm editing. But eventually they came around, and since it was the first film, I guess I was very nice about it. But yeah, a month is a really nice like
in the
deadline.
future, if you ever in the future,
Yeah.
stamp down on it.
Yeah, so something like that. I mean, it's voluntary after all. They're not getting paid, so I think filming the visuals only lasted a month, which is not bad. We did have to do a couple refilms, but we got there in the end.
How comes? We're like, what are some of the scenes that you refilmed? And like, what are some of the
So
scenes?
the
that, like,
beginning, the very first scene we refilmed because it like me and Irish didn't have any armor on in the very original thing, and I wanted it to look like we lost our stuff.
More realistic, yeah.
Yeah, to be a bit more realistic. I wanted it to look like that we lost our stuff when we went through the portal. So I was like, I realized, and I was like, oh yeah, we need to refilm this. And then I also lost the footage to one of the refilms. No, not refilms. One of the, I don't remember which scene it was, but I lost the footage to it, so we just had to refilm it.
In regards to like the whole editing process, then did you get any like help throughout? I believe that you kind of touched on the fact that like it was all you, but was it absolutely all you? Was there anything that like a certain edit that was done by somebody else, or was it just completely you who produced it and recorded? Like and in like same goes for the clips. Was it just you who got the clips, or I know you said the clipping process was hard, etc. But did you get any help with that as well?
So editing, all me. I did everything. I didn't really ask for advice. I did show a couple clips to a couple of the actors, like, oh yeah, this is your scene. Like, let me know what you think about it. For the filming, that was also all the clips were gained by me, but except for the flashback scene, because my Wi-Fi was having a hard time, so I couldn't actually do the filming for that. So I got Irish to do the filming, because I wanted to get that scene done. I think the flashback scene was the last scene we filmed. So I wanted to get it done as soon as possible.
So you filmed it all?
Yeah, we'd filmed all the scene. We just need to do the flashback scene.
Okay. So does that mean that who was doing your part? That's what I'm interested in.
Oh, so okay, we just get all the actors that were available. Any actors that were available, just get like 6 for if there were 6 people in the scene, or 4 if there was 4 people in the scene. It doesn't matter. Some of the people involved weren't even actors; they were just helpers, and we just get them to wear the skins of who they were playing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I do have some very interesting questions relating to the filming. I can't lie. I was filming in terms of something like that. There must have been a lot of shenanigans that went on. And I want to know, firstly, did anyone die that wasn't meant to? Because there's a lot of sword swinging.
Well, yeah, actually, we ended up killing off Frill Official because he's one of the people that didn't know what a deadline was. So we were like, you know what? We're killing you. And yeah, that's why he's actually no longer on Twitter.
Oh, wait, who's no longer on Twitter? Sorry, I missed the name. I heard the story, I just missed the name. Sorry.
Frill. Actually, I think he came back recently.
He came back for the podcast.
Yeah.
He came back. Yeah, he retweeted the podcast announcement. I'm not sure if that's the reason he came back, but he was there for that. So
yeah.
When filming, did you have to take many takes from people like dying because someone out PvP'd someone else that they weren't meant to?
Yes. This was a struggle because we can't do commands and stuff, so we can't just give each other like resistance and all that because this was on the Hive. This was on a server. It was very limited. So there was one instance where, and this was in the bloopers reel. Actually, no, this isn't really related, but it kind of is. In the bloopers reel, we killed Prime Strat because we were meant to, and he just comes back. Like, he comes back and he's like, because he thought it was a mistake, and then he goes, wait, was I meant to die? It was pretty funny. But there was also a couple of times where, like, during that fight scene as well, like, I think Trill killed me, and that wasn't obviously meant to happen because I meant to survive till the end. Spoilers, but
oh damn!
I should have probably put a trigger warning at the start of this podcast, right? You know what? This could be in the free highlight clips. Trigger warning. There's going to be spoilers throughout this podcast. Lots of spoilers. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it before listening to this. Essentially, there you go. I can go in the free highlight clips. We're saved.
All right, cool.
What about like with casting though? I noticed that it's only really it's not even all content creators. What was the idea behind that? I know you just wanted your friends, but like, okay, I mean, I guess in quotation marks for marketing purposes or promotion purposes, wouldn't have been smarter go for like content creators? Because with the podcast, for example, AJS and I just get people on who we think are interesting, and we don't really mind if it does well or not. We're not looking for ways to strategically grow. Was that kind of the way you were going with your one? Was that the idea of getting like more friends on than trying to get larger famous people? If that makes any sense at all?
This is a really interesting question because I think I had this discussion in the private Discord. I essentially just want people who are like theater kids, like really good at voice acting. Like that's why I did the applications recently. And yes, there are some content creators in there, but that's not really the main focus. Like I have like some of my friends who aren't even involved in like any of my communities. Like I've been a part of like Hive community or whatever. Eli and Soup. Eli's a major theater kid. Eli, if you're listening, hello. And you know, she was interested from the start. Soup's just one of my friends. Like we're good friends. Me, Eli, and Soup are like a friend group. Reese as well. I only knew about Reese when Gummy Studios started because Adele was like, "Oh yeah, Reese is like pretty good at voice acting. He's another theater kid." And I was like, you know what? Fair enough. I'll invite him on, and it worked.
And then you got others such as like Ian the Lad,
Yeah.
Irish Potato.
Ian the Lad.
You know, but like these are
Yeah.
like these are once again content creators, but not full on like content creators. That makes sense. Like Irish isn't actively pumping out content. Ian isn't actively pumping out content. I guess a rapper sort of is now. Prime Shot didn't make a big feature considering he's one of the people who are like it's the like the main characters. I mean I guess like everyone technically in this one was a main character in their own way, but like you know the main characters were the ones who yourself, but then also someone else who wasn't really thing. So what was the idea for that? How did you pick who was?
Yeah, so with Irish, I don't know if she like I mean she does say this publicly, but I don't think it's very well known. She used to do voice acting for Lifeboat, the Bedrock server. Yeah, when I was doing the picks, for the main characters, I wanted people who were like more interested in the project, but also more like good at voice acting and that kind of stuff. So that's why Irish was like one of the main ones because I knew her experience. I knew her like yeah.
So from there, where does it like you did all the editing, which I still find crazy. You film it. Was it in the initial stage when you wrote it, or was it when you just started making it? When did the title come up?
When did the title come up? Well, it was originally late 2021 when I wanted to do it. It was originally just called The Yellow Pole, but then when I restarted Gummy Studios, when I restarted Gummy Studios, I went and changed it just to Sky was the wrong pole. I think I had the name down from the start. But
I can imagine. Was again maybe this is what was the sort of funniest thing that happened when you were filming it? Because obviously different people could die and I thought would be hilarious, but I'm sure there was a lot more going on when you were first making it.
This was also in the bloopers reel. But the very first bit of the bloopers reel, this was the hardest scene to film, by the way. Because it required 8 people to be online at the same time. And we were just trying to get it done. We wanted to get it done. And Ian the Lad had to do his line, and it was like,
"Oh, is this the one I know?"
Yeah.
I love this one.
So he goes, "What just happened, Ian?" And Ian's line was meant to be, "It appears Adela and Reese were killed." But actually, he goes, "What do you mean?" And I burst out into laughter. Like, I couldn't stop laughing for like 2 minutes straight because I just wanted to get the scene done. But it was so funny that we'd spent all that time preparing the scene just for a fail like that.
I remember you like sending that clip to me before it was in the bloopers reel, and it's just because obviously Ian like sometimes has helped out get like the clips for the podcast, so obviously that's kind of my interaction with them. But I guess while we're still on the topic of guests, or not even guests, sorry, of the casting and stuff like that, today of recording this podcast is the second new member of the cast team has been announced. So by the time this podcast comes out, all the actors will have been announced, so I'll just list them now. Our new actors are the Aura Straw, Bear is cancelled, Gigi the Puppy, Key, Salad the Real,
Real, Stella, and VA Vicious Agony. So 7 new actors, which are going to appear in the next film. They have a priority spot, so since they're new.
I also have a priority spot for a feature, right? Can we leak that? Are we
I mean, potential InsaneOrbitzz cameo.
No way, that's crazy.
Yeah, but so yeah, on that topic of new actors, I wanted to talk about the applications. So we opened applications recently, and the stage 1 was where they would just send me a message of like basically introducing themselves, why they want to be in Gummy Studios, why they think it would be like cool, I guess. But they just wanted to. I just read all their paragraphs, and I selected I think 10 people to move on to stage 2. And stage 2 was like auditions. Like I gave them a bunch of lines, just like example lines to do, and they would have to send them in for a specific deadline. And when they did send them in, I would just listen to them, and I'd listen to the strengths, because the different lines they would send me, I did it in a way so that it's like different genres of what's happening. So there are certain actors that are only actors because of specific strengths, because like for example, Salad the Real can only play comedic characters, because no offense if you're listening, I didn't really like the serious ones. I just like the comedic ones, so that's why you're only playing those characters. And yeah, it was just like a process I had to go through.
Poor Salad the Real. Wow. That's crazy. That's actually really, really sad for Salad the Real here. Salad the Real enjoys in the mud, I'm hearing.
No, I'm sure she gets it.
So from there, where does it like what would you need more voice actors for, shall we say?
Just for variety, really, because
that's a good point.
Yeah, I didn't really want to have the same voice actors for every film.
Variety reference. Sorry.
Yeah, shout out Variety. That's a group channel I'm part of. I didn't really want it to be the same voice actors every film, but it's also just in case that we don't have enough voice actors for a specific film. It's just 2 reasons really why I did it.
And then the whole idea, why Bedrock Edition, right? I know this is like, this podcast is a little bit all over the place, but we're kind of just asking questions as they go. And it's like, you could have done it on, I know you're a Bedrock Edition content creator, and I know that like, you're familiar with the Hive replay mod and all that kind of jazz, but what are we looking at going forward here? Are we sticking to Bedrock Edition? I have a feeling I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you it anyway.
Okay, interesting question, because that's the only Bedrock film that's going to happen. Everything else from now on is going to be filmed on Java. The only reason I did Skywar's the Wrong Portal on Bedrock was because it was the only... I had just come back from holiday in September, and I didn't have the time to just get used to a replay mod on Java. So we just stuck to Hive's replay. But for the upcoming films, they will be on Java Edition. And you call me a Bedrock content creator, but I'm basically leaving that side of Minecraft now and moving into more of the Java scene. So yeah, upcoming films from now on.
You're Bedrock until you leave.
Yeah.
That's kind of how...
Yeah.
I guess that's just the easiest way to generalize it in a sense.
Yeah, no, I get it. But it's like, upcoming from now on, it will be Java films. And I'm pretty excited, honestly. The replay mod, I had a look at a tutorial, and it looked much better and more like, you had like keyframes and stuff. It was pretty cool.
What are some of your like favorite scenes throughout the movie? I mean, my one personally is where the dog dies.
Oh my God.
Love that.
Jesus Christ, bro.
The perfect ending. Okay. Nah, there's like a good few scenes. There was a good few. I watched it on the stream and I reviewed it. I did make jokes. There was a good few parts where I'm like in the village one, right? These people are outgearing you. You're scared of them. So what do? You run right towards them. You run right past them. Perfect. Choice to do. But what are some of your personal favorites?
Yeah, so I think a lot of the scenes with RC in them, like the host, those were some of my favorites because of the not only just the voice, but the way his lines were written. Like I'm just like crediting myself here, like insert the Obama image, but the way that some of the lines were written, I really, really liked. It really his scenes showed how good of a villain he was. And then like, yeah, I just can't really pick a favorite though. That's the problem. They were really good.
What about you, AJX? Do you have any personal favorites?
I would say that I'm gonna go with the first like we see the controller, the master, like that first like the zoom in and so on was very good. But I love all the battle scenes because I quite like the shaky cam that you have going on.
Oh yeah,
I really enjoy the shaky cam on it.
that's interesting. Yeah. I really liked editing the fight scenes as well. Not only because it was easier to edit, but it was also just I love putting music into shit, and like, I had some of the best music on. Like the very last fight scene, very last part of the last fight scene. That song was a banger for that scene, and I just really liked it.
What song was that? What song was that again?
The Time by Ivan. I can't pronounce the second name, but it was a Toontag song.
Is it copyrighted or no?
No, non-copyright.
Oh, do you have something here, Jake? But I cut you off. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say I really liked how all the fight scenes had sort of this like shaky cam feel to them. It reminds me of Kingsman, those films. And I really like they sort of like it works really well with the sword movement and so on, and how the fights would like go through the islands and so that was a big plus for me.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Was the shaky cam intentional? Be honest.
I don't think it was. Like I didn't realize there was a good side to it, to be honest. But yeah, I do.
I really liked. Really liked.
It wasn't intentional.
You could easily use like maybe a replay mod or whatever. But I think it really worked. I don't know what, like, for all the fight scenes, it was like very it felt more involved than just watching it from the sidelines.
I get that. Yeah.
I think what's really cool as well is with the final fight as well is the cutting of how when you rotate Orocat is on every single one. Like you made it that kind of transition almost perfectly with the fact of you spinning and Orocat being there every single time. It's like
funny part about that scene. Orocat doesn't like sharing a skin, so we only had 3 people who had Orocat's skin, including myself. So in that scene, who you're seeing as me is actually Irish Potato, not me. So like that entire fight scene is the character's me. It's actually Irish Potato fighting off all the RCs. But we had 3, and what I would have to do as my character was turning around, I would have to run across to the other side just so I could get like a replay shot to make it look like it was 4.
Oh, so it wasn't even edited, it was just you running around?
Yeah, it was just me just running to the other side. Yeah.
I thought it was just like perfectly cut of like you spinning. More on Guy Wall's The Wrong Portal then. So obviously Hive replay mod helped a bunch. How comes like you want to move like why not do a CubeCraft one or a Live Show one or a Galaxy one? Like I know you're moving away from Bedrock Edition, but like did you not want to get kind of more of a warm up before going, or was it just like you did it because of that and your dream was always to just do it on Java, which you're gonna pursue now, kind of thing?
Yeah, simple answer. I don't really care for the other servers.
Oh, you're not fair enough.
Yeah.
I respect that. And then Hive was done, and then what about Java?
Yeah.
Then what's more hints? What's more hints towards the next movie?
Well, currently we have 5 films planned upcoming, but our next film is called Kingdoms, and it's set in like the medieval times, for obvious reasons, and it's gonna be filmed on Java, and I want to say the release date is gonna be around late February. Right now we're doing like the building and the writing. We're hopefully gonna get that done by the end of the month, and then filming we're gonna begin around late December, if not early January.
And then you'll hit me up to film as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Can InsaneOrbitzz and AJX make it? Actually, no, AJX is so busy. I'd have to do
Whoa! Bro's trying to get rid of him.
No. I'd have to record your lines for you, you know, and
do my voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Do my voice. I dare you.
Oh God! All right, say a sentence and I'll copy it.
I am AJX. Welcome to the InsideMC podcast.
I am AJX, and welcome to the InsideMC podcast.
In his own voice, can't be a voice.
I'm trying to talk from the back of my throat.
You talk like this.
Oh, I am AJX, and this is.
You talk like this.
Go on, Bill, you got this.
I'm AJX, and this is the InsideMC podcast.
That was actually the best impression, actually.
That was bad.
That was way better than me. Yeah, my bad. Sorry. So what was, I guess this should have been really asked at the start of the podcast, but to go into more depth here, what was the whole inspiration behind getting into this field? Like, you know, touching on it more, like, is it something that, like, is it gonna stick to Minecraft Minecraft? Is this a warm-up for the future? Is this just practice? Kind of like all more on that.
I was hoping you'd ask this about the is it going to stick to Minecraft thing. Okay, so to answer your question, I love film. Like, I love just waiting for new things to come out. One of my favorite shows at the moment is The Boys, because it's just peak fiction, right? So I wanted to start my own kind of thing, starting with Minecraft, but it's going to be Minecraft for the foreseeable future. But if this were to make it big, and for context, my maths teacher used to tell me to aim for the sun because you might just hit the moon, which is a quote that's stuck with me ever since.
Yeah.
So if Gummy Studios was to make it big, I want to make an actual high budget series of some sorts. Like, I've already written out basically everything about it. One of my friends, Eli, that I was talking about earlier, has heard the entire plot and is amazed by it. Like, this has been in the works for a year, and it would be really cool to see it come to life.
When you say come to life, do you mean physically come to life, or like I know what you meant by it, but I also mean in a sense of would you also like it to come to like Gummy Studios to be an IRL kind of how I guess franchise would be the word. Yeah, franchise would be the word I used in the announcement. Yeah, so franchise.
Yeah, it could if it goes well. It could like transition into a genuine studio, which is pretty cool.
Do you have any other topics that you wanted to touch on the movie? I feel like we've been quite quick kind of getting through this all, but it's more just that's why there wasn't really a format to this podcast, because you're just a friend and like I enjoy talking to you and I thought it'd be cool to come on and talk about your movie. But with it I thought this can be a more chilled out, laid back, just kind of you get what I'm saying, you get what I mean, AJX?
Yeah, what I get what you're saying
as well.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's been good. We have the listener questions, the Twitter questions as well.
Yeah, but before that, do you have anything that we haven't touched on? And you would like you said you were hoping we'd ask that, and you also have your own notes as well. So is there anything in your notes that you want to talk about that we just haven't?
Yeah, we've said everything in
really?
my notes. Yeah.
Oh
yeah, we're a good podcast.
You're a good podcast, and this is a really short podcast as well. Oh, okay. But it doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be long to be interesting and get your points across.
Right.
Did you have any other questions, AJX, for Vera here, or we move on to the Twitter questions?
None from me. No. Twitter questions it is.
Okay then. Right. I will go first because I have two, and I believe you have one, right?
Yes, I have one. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, wait. No, I just realized I've already. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So my first one comes from Salad. What was the hardest scene to film in Sky Was the Wrong Portal, and also what is your favorite scene? Because like I know we kind of touched on it, but for the sake of putting it into one section here, just like and also I just wanted to mention that there was a question from Salad because I know you're good friends. So.
Yeah. So the hardest scene to film was the congratulations scene where Adele and Reese, after Adele and Reese were killed, we were transported into a different map and stuff. That was the hardest scene to film because there was like 8 people. Like we needed 8 people for it, and actually we ended up just finding out a way to have it so it's only 6 people, even though it shows that it looks like there was 8 people in the scene. So yeah, that was the workaround around it. But my favorite scene was the final fight scene, the second part of the final fight scene where it gets all intense. Like this is the final RC that Vera has to fight, and it's just
My question is from Just Reese. Theirs was, what's your favourite line in Sky Wars The Wrong Portal?
Oh, my favourite line. Let me pull up the script.
That doesn't even know that was favourite line. Probably.
Hold on. It's somewhere in here. So yeah, I'll give 2 answers. So there's one from character Vera where she goes, "What do you know? You know nothing. I just like the effect that I kind of gave it when I voice acted it."
You're so emotional. I nearly cried.
Yeah.
I did in fact nearly.
And then there was the scene right after Irish's death. Yeah, RC goes, "It seems neither of you wanted to kill each other and it got boring. This was meant to be my source of entertainment and you ruined it. So now I have to finish you off myself." The way RC did that one was so sick to me.
Actually, that reminds me of another question I had. 2 questions. Sorry, I know you have a Twitter question here, AJX. I just wanted to ask them. Firstly, why is it a piss pool?
So Sky Wars yellow. That was my thought process.
No
yeah.
way. And the second one was, why did you and Irish not just like talk? Like why did you have to do all this fighting before you got to the conclusion that maybe he's trying to trick us? Why would you just believe a random voice in your head like, yeah, nah, she's a bad guy or she's a bad guy? Like why? Oh, bad girl. Sorry, I guess. Like why did you not just think to pause for a second? What if we're being tricked?
I guess it was just the idea that Arcee was like an all-powerful being. So I just kind of assumed it was true because he knew so much about their lives already. I don't really know. That's a good one.
It's a good one. You don't even
It's
know
a good
the
one. It's a good
answer.
one. I guess just it's not really plot armor, is it? It's just, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, this has been a great podcast. I think we've cooked. We've covered pretty much everything as well, I'd like to say. There is another question that's come to mind, and it's gone again. The question's gone again. Never mind.
Man.
This is
Man.
Yeah, no, the
So
overstimulation.
you have one more viewer question.
I
believe.
don't. I realized that we actually answered it.
Oh,
Yeah. So yeah, I realized
fantastic.
that like once I went to read it, I was like, oh, wait, no, never mind. We actually touched on it already throughout the podcast. So sadly, we not sadly, but yeah, we've covered all the Twitter questions, which is crazy, and we only had to ask one. Kind of mental when you think about it, right? Oh, that's it. Right. Okay. So how? I guess building on your about like knowing everything about their lives. Is there any backstory or lore as to how he knows everything about their lives?
Not at the moment. See, the original plan was to make a sequel, but I kind of scrapped the idea. I didn't feel like making another one. So
Yeah, I think it's better left done now. Like it
Yeah.
ended in the most perfect way of dog dying. You know? So, I think that's the perfect way to see off the entire movie there. Or short film.
Bro
I should
loves
say.
this dog dying. What's up? What's wrong with you? Do you need help?
No, Vera's just a big fan of John Wick, and I find it funny.
Oh, okay. I see.
So, you know, when I said about the dog dying, it's just, you know, they couldn't save the dog like John Wick,
Damn.
essentially. But with that being said then, Vera, that sadly brings the end of this midweek MC. This is like a really, really short one, and I hope the viewer enjoys a short one because they've been really, really long recently, and I think I'm going to enjoy editing a short one, so I appreciate that. Before we end though, Vera, would you like to promote yourself, promote Gummy Studios? Where can we find both of the things I've just mentioned on any social media?
Yeah, so Gummy Studios, youtube.com/@gummy_studios. Same with Twitter, it's @gummy_studios. And if you also want to be updated with me personally, my Twitter is @ImVercon. I am Vercon.
You are Vercon. Observation.
I am Vercon, yeah, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much all I really need to plug.
There we go. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. AJX, thank you so much for taking charge as well. I see these podcasts are slightly a bit harder when I kind of know all the answers because I can ask them, but I know what to expect. I find it harder to build on them, you know? I've seen all the... I haven't been there for it per se, but I know... I mean, I was there for the movie premiere, you know? So I know a give or take a good amount behind the scenes. And also I did a little mini podcast before we watched the preview in the voice call, didn't I? So, you know, it's a bit harder to ask questions based on that. So thank you so much, AJX, for taking charge. It was cool to see you take charge of a midweek MC as well.
My
Yeah.
absolute
Thank you for
pleasure.
having me on. It was very... I'm honored. I'm
No
honored.
worries. With that in mind then, thank you all for watching. Thank you so much for being an amazing guest, Vera. And thank you so much for being an amazing host this week. I'm going to call you the host this week, AJS. I was the co-host essentially this week. But this has been...
Thank you. No.
You cook. You cook.
Thank you,
You
thank you.
always cook. But this has
We
been-
had a wonderful guest, which helped.
True.
Anyway, get on with your
Exactly.
outro.
No, yeah. Am I gonna third time's a charm? Just like the intro. If you know, actually, you won't know. Only we will know. Anyways, this has been Midweek MC talking to the amazing Vera about all things Gummy Studios. Stay tuned for the future. A lot of big stuff planned. You might even see InsaneOrbitzz acted in a short film one time. Who knows? But thank you all for watching. Stay safe. Only too much bread. Deuces.